We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 156. Today we're going to talk about my NFL pick of the week, as well as my weekend poker, and whatever else y'all want to talk about. The Mouthpiece is next. Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Mouthpiece. All right, we're here on a Saturday afternoon. Just watched Alabama get beat. I love nothing more than to watch Alabama get beat because I hate them. And the sick part about it is if I had woken up on time, I would have had Vanderbilt because I knew Alabama would come flat after the big win over Georgia last week. So, yeah, that was pretty good to watch. Watched Philadelphia get the amazing Mets do it again in the 8th inning today with like a 5 spot and win the game 6-1. So my Dodgers are starting in around 10 minutes. So we'll see what's going on with that. You know me, I'm a diehard Dodger fan. And hopefully we'll go a little bit farther than last week. Okay, so we won our pick of the week. We won our second best pick of the week, and we lost our third. So we are 2-2 on our pick of the week. We are 3-1 on our number 2 pick, and we are 2-2 on our number 3 pick. Last week I went 7-3 on the week, which is pretty good. And the sick part about it is I wouldn't even have had the Eagles if I would have woke up in time and seen the injury report that Vita Vea was playing. So, that kind of sucked. But overall, we are, let's see, in my Pick 10 league, which is, 4 weeks in? I'm exactly 20-20. And the ones that count, the ones we bet, we are, let's see, 3-1, 2-2, and 2-2. So what does that put us at? That puts us at 7 and 7-4, 7-5. It's not bad, whatever. And so we're about even. So this week, I was all in on the Bills. I was. And as it's come down, they have lost 4 starters that will be out this game. Their leading receiver, their best defensive player, their best pass rusher guy. And so this line has moved like 2.5 points. And so it was originally going to be my pick of the week. And it will no longer be. So I'm going to tell you where I was at and where we stand now. So I was at, the Bills were going to be my number 1 pick. The Jets were going to be my number 2 pick. And Dallas was going to be my number 3 pick. Well, Dallas has a million injuries, even though I still think that they are the right side. And the Bills have a million injuries. So that moves our number 1 pick and our official pick of the week up to the Jets. The Jets in London at 6:30 a.m. getting plus 2.5. I love this game in so many ways. The reason why I love this game so much is kind of the same reason why I would have bet Vanderbilt today. They took a 2.5 game lead over Green Bay last week by beating them on the road. Now we had Minnesota as our number 3 pick last week. I'm not Minnesota, but Green Bay, and we were down 28-0. And again, that was another game that the people I listened to said to keep an eye on Green Bay in the first half and bet them in the second half because they didn't know how good Love was going to come out, and Love struggled early coming off the injury and played much better in the second half. So again, I could have really had a good week last week if I would have just listened to myself and the people I kind of listened to. So yeah, that was a fuck up. So I love this is a really 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 sick stat, but teams that were 7-point favorites that lost the week before and have given up and lost, giving up 12 points or less, are 22-4 straight up the following week, and they give up 10 points and lost. And I think everything is just screaming to me that this is the game the Vikings lose. They like Darnold's thrown, I think it was a stat I heard, 8 balls that were in danger of being picked, where Rodgers has thrown none. Now, he's also been a lot better than Rodgers, so that stat kind of goes off the fucking reservation. But I just love betting on teams that lose to a bad team. Everybody thinks they suck, and against a team that just took a 2.5 game lead over the Green Bay in their division, and and they have Detroit on deck after this bye, so they beat the team they wanted to beat, their rivals in Green Bay. They play this game against the Jets, which kind of means nothing as long as if they could go into Detroit in 2 weeks and beat Detroit. So yeah, I mean, it's just a sandwich game between two division opponents, and I am going with the Jets as my pick of the week. So with that in mind, my number 2 pick is really against the grain here, and I took the Browns plus 3.5 against the Redskins. And the reason why is the Browns get their 2 offensive linemen back that have been missing all year. Now, Watson, yeah, he hasn't looked good, but Amari Cooper dropped an easy touchdown pass. It would have been an 80-yard touchdown pass last week. They get the 2 offensive linemen back, and they're a bad defense, Washington. Yeah, they held Arizona last week, but they're a bad defense, and Washington's 3 wins. Look at the defenses they beat. They beat the Giants. Their defense is terrible. They beat Arizona. They probably have the worst defense in the NFL, and they beat Cincinnati, who also might have one of the top 3 worst defenses in the NFL. So now they step up. Cleveland's defense is much better. They get the 2 offensive linemen back. Their season's on the line. They're coming home after 2 road wins, and it's ho, ho, ha, ha, hee, hee. The crowd's going crazy. So much enthusiasm in Washington. And I got the Browns plus 3.5. That's my number 2 pick of the week. Okay. And my number 3 pick of the week is the Saints on Monday night. Saints on Monday night plus 5.5. A lot of people think, okay, well, Patrick Mahomes is going to be much more focused this week because now he lost his leading receiver in Rice for the week, and it's all because of him, and he's got something to prove. But the Saints defense, they don't give up shit. I mean, they don't give up over 20 in any game. Okay, last week they did, but they got 14 points off of a fumble in the end zone and a pick 6. Or I would have won that under that I gave you guys. So plus 5.5. I love the Saints this week. I kind of really was leaning like moving them up to number 2, So, but I didn't. So there it is, boys and girls. Jets are my number 1 pick of the week. My number 2 pick of the week are the Browns. Number 3 pick of the week are Kansas City. And I like the Niners a lot if you lay 7. I'm not laying 7.5. I'm not laying 2 scores. A lot of people are thinking this week, everything's tough. It's a really tough week. Well, 2 of these games, like I really originally, like I said, it was going to be the Bills, the Jets, and Dallas. And so I still like Dallas, but I because of all the injuries, I had to stay away from them. But the Dallas has San Francisco and Detroit on deck, and if they don't win this game, they're looking at 2-5 right in their face. I just don't. Here's another stat for you. This is a good one. When Justin Fields starts, if the team that he faces scores over 20 points, Justin Fields is 0-22. Straight up. 0-22. So now you have to ask yourself, will Dallas score 20 points against Pittsburgh? I think they will. 0-22. It's a pretty big stat, you guys. 0-22. So that's why I like Dallas, but they got a lot of injuries on defense, and they can't run the ball, and Pittsburgh can. Dallas has been terrible against the run this year. Yeah, you could say they gave up 26 yards to the Giants last week, but the Giants are last in the NFL running the ball. So I kind of went off of Dallas. And I kind of like the Packers, but then Watson's out. Now Romeo Doubs is out. I just can't lay the 3 on the road. And so another one of my picks was the Giants, and Neighbors is out. You've got to downgrade them like a point and a half. Neighbors has just been everything for the Giants offense. So I can't take the Giants. And so that's where we come up with our 3 picks. So you guys can give me your opinion on what you think. Huntley's terrible, but it's not like the quarterback for the Patriots have been any better. I think this is a must-win game for Miami. I kind of lean a little bit Miami, but I ain't touching them. I ain't getting anywhere near them. Let's see. My week in poker. Last week, we ended up winning $22,500. Good week. This week, I have not played. Why have I not played? Well, as I've been telling you guys, I've been really level and doing really well. And the doctor put me on Vyvanse, and it's been great. And then I went to get prescription filled, and they have a worldwide Vyvanse shortage. It used to be the worldwide Adderall shortage. Now it's the worldwide Vyvanse shortage. So I have not been on my medication since Monday, and when I'm not motivated, I can't play, and I'm worried about making mistakes. And also, it's during the week of Jewish holidays, which were on Tuesday, Wednesday of this last week, and Yom Kippur starts next week, I think, on Wednesday night. And so during this time of year, I've always done really bad when I play poker during the high holidays. So it's almost like, okay, they don't have my Vyvanse. Okay, it's the week that I always lose like between October 1st and October 15th. Like I get crushed every year for 20 years. And listen, like I win certain months every year my whole life. I lose certain months every year my whole life. And when you tell yourself you don't try and play through something that's gone on for 20 years, you just do something different, like don't play during that month. So the last 2 years I haven't played during the during the month of October month. So I'm not going to play until after Yom Kippur, and hopefully I'll get my medication and we'll start playing again. So I miss playing, but I got to do what I got to do. So I'll let you guys know if I play next. It'll be if I do play, it'll be the end of next week. So it's just something that I always, stick with, and like it's almost like, oh, they're out of Vyvanse. Oh, it's 2 weeks during the year I always lose. Oh, okay, so I'm not in no hurry. All right, we could talk about the debate last week or this week. We already talked about the debate, didn't we? No, that was this week.
I think it was this week.
Oh yeah, that was this week. Oh, that was a fucking beatdown. Yeah. But I just got done watching the Trump rally in Butler. Pretty emotional thing. Pretty good. I don't know, man. I'm trying to stay away from politics as much as I can. No reason for me to. There's 30 days of divisiveness coming up, and so we'll try and stay away from that a little bit. And let's see what else is going on. Shout out to my man John, man. I know he's a little bit down. He lost his dog. Love you, brother. Let's see what else is going on. It was I ended up doing pretty good. I ended up betting Detroit last week on Monday night, which I kind of threw in at the end. I just felt they were going to kill him. I kind of agree with the guy that called into the show that was here. I almost wish I would have put them in my top three last week, but it just sometimes it was kind of a square play. I try and stay away from the square plays. Baseball is alive and well. Really looking forward to the Dodgers. Like, I don't know, this Padre Dodgers is going to be a hell of a series. Padres losing Musgrove is really big. Like, he was their best pitcher down the fucking stretch. So now the Dodgers, who have struggled with their pitching, it's pretty evened out now, I think. So, hopefully the Dodgers will get to the World Series. I don't know about the Yankees, man. I mean, yeah, I guess you could probably say it'd probably be the Yankees out of the Astros are out. But I don't know, man. Detroit's pretty good. Yeah, they lost today, but they didn't. They purposely held Screwball back, and so they'll start Screwball in game 2. That guy never loses. Then they'll start the other guy in game 3, and who knows? Like that, they played for the long haul. Yeah, that was. I'll tell you what. It's as much as Detroit looked like they won easily last week. It really wasn't easy. Somebody told me that. They're like, Detroit, man, easy game. They crushed them. No, they didn't. The Seattle Seahawks became the first team in NFL history to have 38 first downs and not punt and lose a game. So don't tell me they won easily. The referees kind of fucked them. with the pass interference thing, or that would have been a one possession game. But it was the Detroit back end defense, which I thought was improved, was still dog shit. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't anywhere close to easy. And Seattle, I don't know, man. I really like the Giants, and then but they just don't win. I mean, you can't take Neighbors has been so good for them. And Seattle's got 2 tough games on deck, so this is a must-win game for them. Anyways, sorry. See, I'm tired because I don't have my Vyvanse, so I'm just and then I just been eating like crazy because of not having my medication, so it kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm gonna probably go to a game this year. Hopefully, I've never been to a Raider game. I'd like to go, so we'll see what happens. So no poker so far this week. Haven't played one hand. Good week last week, and so yeah, I'm trying to I planned on playing, not a lot, but a little bit. But like I said, it was a combination of not having my medication and the 2 weeks during the year I always lose. So I watched the game a little bit, but I've held myself from playing because I'm trying to have willpower, because if I lose, I'll just never forgive myself, because every year I lose during between the 1st and the 15th. Every fucking year for 20 years. And so I told myself I'm just not going to play. So, alrighty. Well, let's take some calls and see what you guys want to talk about.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. Almost forgot our number. 702-329-0480. And tell us what you want to talk about. And yeah, the Colts should have lost. Well, they probably would have lost if Richardson didn't get injured. I really like the Jags this week too, but now they say Richardson's not going to play, so that favors the Jags. Favors Indy. What's up? Welcome to the Mouthpiece.
Mikey!
What up, brother?
What's up, doggy dog? It's Josh. You flew me down for the premiere of the first round.
Yeah, what's going on, Josh? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you doing, dude?
Oh, same old shit, man. Just kind of chilling out, getting ready for a long day of football tomorrow, and hopefully I have the right 3 teams, and
perfect thing I want to ask. Okay, so now looking at point spreads and being a sharp or being on the square side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at these, you know, and kind of like you say sometimes, you look at them, you pick what you think, oh yeah, this is gonna happen, this can happen. None of it happens. It's always checkerboard yourself, and all the sharp plays are always the stupidest plays until after hindsight when you look at them.
Well, I don't know. The sharp plays always if you could get down on the sharp picks before the lines move, you will make money at the end of the year.
Gotcha.
You know, I used to be a square. That's why I used to lose, and
I know.
And now I kind of follow, like, you got to look at to beat the NFL. You look outside the box. You know, it's like whatever you saw the week before, you don't look at the following week. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's huge too. Because I play a lot of
it's real easy to sit there and say, wow, the Jets scored 9 points against Denver. They lost 10-9. Bo Nix had minus 15 yards passing first half, and they still won the game. The Jets suck. Okay, the Jets are so bad that the fucking Minnesota is undefeated, including three wins over the playoff teams. So that's why they're 2-point favorites. Okay, I mean, you got to look outside the box and realize that they took a 2.5 game division lead over Green Bay last week, and now they have Detroit on deck after their bye in London, and so
what is that? So now Vikings, is that, to me, That's why
we have the Jets as our number one pick of the week, because
you see the Jets is your number one pick.
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
No, and you see that's, and I'm on it then.
And the reason why the Browns are my number 2 pick is like, how can you take the Browns? Watson's been terrible. Washington's been so good.
This is what I'm talking about, though. Like, it's like, how could you ever take the Browns?
Exactly.
All of the winners take the Browns.
Because all the squares are going to look at, oh, man, the rookie's been so great. Well, yeah, they've been great against the Bengals, who have the worst defense, the fucking Giants, who have the worst defense, and Arizona has. Those are probably the 3 worst defenses in the NFL.
And
the truth of the matter is like, I mean, I think the Bengal defense is so bad. Like, I kind of lean like the Ravens this week. I really do, especially since the Ravens own the Bengals in the regular season, and I just don't like the way the Bengals fucking defenses looked. I mean, they're lucky to win last week. They're lucky they're not 0-4. You know.
No, and also the Ravens with that Derrick Henry, they got a monster.
They're a monster, dude. They
got a monstrous deal going there.
I mean, they are my Super Bowl predicted winner. And I did predict them.
Tough.
I do have them in Detroit in the Super Bowl, so I still feel pretty good about that.
At the beginning of the season, or
that was the beginning of the season.
What are you thinking about Detroit now?
Well, I don't like what I saw on the back end of the defense that they spent all that money on to try and improve. I mean, it hasn't looked like they've improved at all. Their whole look what Baker Mayfield did to them. I mean, will they get better? Yeah, but right now I don't like what I'm seeing. So I think San Francisco is probably the best team in the NFL. Them and Baltimore. But I don't know.
What do you think about them? What do you think? Are the Vikings a smokescreen? What are you thinking?
Yeah, they're a smokescreen. They're good. They're good, but they're not. That's another reason why.
Sam Darnold. Are you going to be the helm of a championship team? Sam Darnold.
The Jets. Here's another thing. The Jets preseason over/under was 9.5. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Vikings preseason was 7.5. And now this line in the summer was Jets 3, and now they have Vikings 2.5. Now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
But these are things you have to look at. You know, it's
for sure.
Listen, I know I'm right on the fucking Vikings and the Jets this week. I just know it. I just fucking know it.
So Vikings are -2. Yeah, that's your play of the week. The Jets plus 2.5.
Yeah, Jets are my number 1 play of the week, and I got Cleveland plus 3.5 as my number 2.
You had to pick 3. You were saying you had to pick 3 teams right. Is that in some sort of big contest or what?
No. I just pick on the show my pick of the week, and then I give you I just give out my top 3, what I think my top 3 plays are for the week. Like I said, my originally top play was Buffalo, Jets were going to be number 2 and Dallas was going to be number 3, but the Bills have massive injuries. They lost 4 starters are out that were supposed to play this week that were ruled out yesterday. They ruled them all out. So, and they lost the other guy to suspension for 4 weeks. So they're without like 5 key players. So I decided to avoid it. I still like the Bills in the game. I think that they'll be able to score whenever they want on Houston, but I just couldn't I couldn't make them my top 3 with all the injuries. Same with Dallas. I still like Dallas, but with all the injuries, I just couldn't put them in my top 3. So.
Oh, I hear you. All right, how's poker been going, bro?
That's been good. I didn't play this week. I won last week 22. The week before, I lost like 1,000 when I was up like 50. But I'm taking the week off and probably take next week off. I was just saying these are 2 weeks during the year. I've lost infinite amount of money over my lifetime, so I'm gonna try and
superstition kind of thing. You mean?
What's that?
Like these weeks?
There's certain weeks during the year, certain months during the year that you just don't do well. And
I hear you.
The first in the month of October,
I'm
probably lifetime 10 million loser in the month of October. No, actually, I shouldn't say. I've only had 4 losing months in my life. But the first 2 weeks of the months of October, I can't even tell you how much I'm a loser over my lifetime. So,
dude,
like literally, like 5 of the last 6 years, I haven't played during the first 2 weeks of October. So, I learned my mistakes from it. So.
But what is your mental? I know you talked to Phil about it and everything else, but when you're on just a brutal run of brutal beats, you get it in good, you play perfect.
No, it doesn't happen to me, buddy. Doesn't happen to me.
Huh?
Doesn't happen to me. No such thing as running bad. There's no such thing as running bad. You make your own luck, buddy. If you start losing, you just fucking take 2-3 days off. That's all.
And just take a deep breath and then come back and just play how you always play.
Of course, you're going to keep losing if your mindset is in the gutter.
No shit. What is that, dude? Like it does, dude. It's like it is something weird about that where you can almost like picture the card coming and the 2-outer comes, and it's like you're thinking about it.
Well, yeah, because you're losing. When you start losing, one loss becomes 2 losses, becomes 3 losses, becomes a negative mindset. That's why you have to take time off. I have a friend that's in a really bad losing streak right now and refuses to take time off, and he just gets murdered. And you can only talk so much sense into him. I can't tell them how many times I told them to take days off. They don't. It's just like your mindset is never going to be in the right place if you're fucking losing.
And it's so hard to, like, as a gambler and a fucking card player, poker player, whatever, sports bettor, anything, and you're just, it's hard not to.
It used to be hard, but it's called learning from your mistakes, man.
Yeah,
true. You can't learn from your mistakes. You're just fucking terrible.
You're a dead man walking. I hear you, bro.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm going to take some other calls. I appreciate the calls. Good talking to you.
And by the way, I want to thank you guys again. That was awesome, dude. To fly me down, that was so fun. Met Phil, met you, watched your premiere, all that stuff, dude. It was awesome, dude. It was a time. I had a time, brother.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you talking to you, man. I hope I keep it cool, and I'll talk to you soon.
Damn right. Good luck. Run pure, big dog.
All right. Later, bud. Yeah.
Later, bro.
Yeah, I ran bad at the World Series, right? And what did I not do? I didn't take days off. I kept trying to fight through it. And
yo, Mike.
What's up?
Hey. So I was looking at the spreads while I was waiting for you. Now, me and you both know the biggest sucker spread is the 2.5, right?
Oh, dude.
We knew that as kids.
Dude, it's a rule. And this is where I've made a few mistakes this year early on. Is I have this rule. I said it on the show last year. Is whenever a road team is 2.5, just always take the home team, right? Well, you just never lay the 2.5. I don't know. I would like to look like the last 3 years. If you just never laid the 2.5 and took the 2.5, how much more ahead you'd be, you know?
Yeah,
and,
it'd be great.
And
there's 3 games though that are in that sucker spread this week.
You have the Jags, the Dallas, and Minnesota, right?
Yep.
And now the Jags are a solid 3 across the board. Taylor's not playing. Richardson's not playing.
I hate the Colts. I just hate them. I don't know why.
I just don't think they're. I think they're one of the worst 2-2 teams in the NFL. You know,
and you would have thought they were crowned pretty early for no reason.
Well, they thought Richardson was going to be a lot better, and so. I think
no
Flacco,
reason, like I said.
I think Flacco is an improvement for him. That's why I love the Jags this week at 2.5. And now that it's up to 3, I don't like them, especially with Flacco playing. But so I decided to stay away from. There was what was the stat I saw? Teams that are 0-4. And home and favorites in week 5 are, I don't know.
Do you have a stat book just sitting next to your toilet that you read?
No, I listen to like 2 or 3 different podcasts and they throw a lot, and then they throw a lot of different things out, and I look them up and kind of like follow a little bit. But like But here's the thing. As bad as quarterback for Trevor Lawrence has been, he's 8-1 against Indianapolis. He beats them every game.
And I love to hate on Lawrence, but I've seen him make some plays where his team, they're just so out of sync with everything going on.
It's as bad as he is, and I love to hate on him too, but he owns Indianapolis. They can't beat him.
Yeah, and that division seems to stick. Like, they have their own little ecosystem down there. You know?
I mean,
in that
the Titans are consistent. The Titans are 1-3. They should be 3-1. They gave away the game to the Jets, and they gave away the game to the fucking Bears. You know. That's why it made no sense to me why everybody was on Miami last week. I didn't understand it. It's not like the Titans hadn't been good.
Yeah, no, I was all over the Titans there. And I knew Huntley was just horrible. And I even told my buddies,
he'll be better. He'll be better this week. He'll be better this week. I mean,
I do not.
I mean, if you had to put a gun to my head, I would take Miami this week, but I'm not touching the game, so. No.
I'm with you with the Jets, but
I mean,
I love the Pats.
Just think about this fucking game, right? You got Minnesota. They've won 3 games against the playoff teams. They've looked so good, right? Now they're 2.5, and they're just begging you to fucking bet them. Man.
And they're in England. Jefferson is probably losing his mind.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
So they have to they go into Green Bay, right? They fucking whack them in the first half because Love wasn't right, and he got better as the game went on, and they had to hold on for dear life to win that game. And then where do they go? To London, with a bye week next week, and where they go
and they're 3-1. Like, you talk about a game below.
And they go into Detroit in 2 weeks. So. You know, this is their.
I love it, bro.
Yeah, it's just this is the spot, man. This is what you do in the NFL, dude. It's like
and Jets need to take this shit seriously, and everyone's following the tempo of Rodgers. I'm sure they're looking at him on the plane. Like, what do we do here? You know, all that shit. So
listen. Are we going to? Do we have to win? No, but you know what? These are the spots. This and the Browns are the spots, right? It's like, back-to-back road wins, 3 straight games. Washington's punted 1 time. Oh my God, the Browns suck. Well, the Browns get 2 offensive linemen back. Why has fucking the offense struggled? Because fucking Watson's been running for his life.
For his life.
When you're missing,
last week because of the missed extra points, why they lost.
Correct.
That game cost me $900.
Correct. So like, as bad as they've been, like the giveaway last week, they should be 2-2, right? And I get their offensive lineman back. I get a rookie quarterback whose 3 wins have been up against 3 of the worst defenses in the NFL, and it's just, I like the 3.5. You know, I don't know if you could still get 3.5. I saw very few left.
Well, I told you last week, and I'll say it again, that when you watch Watson throw, you can tell that dude needs a massage.
Yeah, that's what you said last week. But
yeah, I get it.
No, I mean,
that's a good one.
I like Frisco a lot this week. I think they're really good. If you could lay 7, but I don't know. It was 7.5. I saw some 7s this morning. But I don't
What about
like
Pitt, Dallas?
I like Dallas, but I'm staying away from it because of all the injuries. You know, but
it's Sunday night. You're not staying away from that game. Come on.
I mean,
that was
I
1
told
o'clock.
I told you, when teams score 20 points or more, Justin Fields is 0-22 in his career. Do you think that the Dallas offense can score 20 points against Pittsburgh?
I mean, that's the number, right? That's the $64,000 question.
That's the number.
20 points is.
But you know, it's
good.
not like the Dallas offense has been good this year. It's like that.
If you can't run,
they can't run the ball.
I mean, they knock out quarterbacks, dude. Like they eat quarterbacks for breakfast.
Yeah, but
they've knocked out Herbert. They knocked out Richardson. They knocked out.
But Herbert was already injured before the Pittsburgh game. But the thing is Dallas has Frisco and Detroit on deck the next 2. They lose this game, they're looking at 2-5 right in their face. They win this game.
You're right.
Win this game.
It does seem winnable, but it's out of conference on the road on grass.
And it's 2.5. Why is it only 2? Why is it 2.5?
Yeah. I mean, that says more than anything me and you have to say.
Yeah.
Right there.
But you know, I look at all my picks this week, and except for the 49ers, I looking at all the road teams, and you know, road teams it's hard to win on the road in the NFL. You know.
Do you know any survivor pool that's still going? I'm curious. Like, I was in the DraftKings one. I tried to look it up. I went out week 2. I couldn't even find my result.
We just started our second chance survivor this week. So
how many people got knocked? Like, is it 95%?
Dude, there was we had like 186 in the first one, and it's down to 4, and that's 180.
I wanted to see
that's 186,000 for first, down to 4 in 3 weeks. So
how are they not chopping?
Well, because
just because it's week 4, you know. I mean, I would at least put something on. I would be like, dude, we all get.
I have a friend who's one of the 4 left, and he's a lot smarter than those guys are. So, yeah.
Oh, come on, man! You're gonna say this is 4 weeks, though. That's amazing. But yeah, he must be remarkable. What was he? Was he picking against the flow on purpose?
I mean, I went against the flow on purpose too. But I avoided all the ones that everybody was taking. But they got me with Baltimore week 2 against the Raiders. I did not like the Baltimore in that game.
I originally had Philly and then changed it, so I was so glad.
That was the week I avoided all the fucking chalk, and I said, the only one that I went with, that was when I had the Detroit. I put like 7 of my picks on Detroit. That was when the coach gave the game away, because they fucking had 6 red zone and had 1 touchdown, because the fucking coach gave away the 3 before the half, and they were chasing the points the whole game. But
that was the most ridiculous halftime. It's hard for me to respect anything that coach does. When he ran the ball on 4th and 1 there at halftime,
it was they got 12 men on the field. And so that ended the half after he ran the ball. So 12 men on the field, less than 10 seconds. It's a 10-second runoff. You're just like, it's ridiculous.
No, the other 2.5-point game, was the Bengals game. And that, I feel like, is a steal waiting to happen.
What's that? You like
Bengals are plus 2.5 at home.
Yeah, this is a game that, like, normally I'd be on the Bengals, but I think their defense is so bad. I think their defense
man,
is
you're
so
like
bad.
you're like a new person. How you see yourself from outside yourself, and
yeah. The but like the fact that this line hasn't moved off 2.5 has to be screaming Bengals, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good. I mean, everybody's getting better every game for the Bengals.
Yeah, but their defense ain't getting better. Fuck, they were life and death to beat fucking Carolina. They were fucking an atrocity against Washington.
But it's the same group of guys that were like in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Nah, they're missing like 4 starters off that team, 4 or 5 defensive starters. I think they have 6 starters. Their whole back end is completely different, and that's what's getting shredded, which got shredded last year.
Yankees just had a huge error.
Yeah, they're playing Kansas City.
Yeah, it's 4-3, Yankee lead, top of the 6th, 1 out. They had a double play, but the third shortstop threw it over to second baseman's head into the outfield. Now it's second and third, 1 out.
Wow.
It's still 4-3.
How do the Yankees get the run? Judge get them?
Bases loaded, like walks, and then a bases loaded walk, and
how my Dodgers
singles
doing?
with the bases.
The Dodger
loaded.
game's 30 minutes old. How my Dodgers doing?
That is going to be such a good series.
I know it is.
And then the Mets-Phillies should be a good series. I don't know.
I don't know. They lost with Wheeler.
Cold.
Wheeler fucking just dealt like a motherfucker today. I mean,
and they took him out in
lost.
a best-of-3 series.
They had to take him out. He had 100 and something pitches, and it's going to the 8th.
I don't care. I think. I mean, maybe you have to, fine. But still, if you win 3 games, it's over, and you can't just give up. They do it every year, though.
My brother felt the same way. He thought the coach was an idiot taking him out, but I felt he had
the same coach that's watched Castellanos go like 0 for 36 last year in the playoffs and never benched him.
Yeah, I know. I remember that, and that was the reason why they lost.
Like, how do you call yourself a manager when you're just like? It's almost like Biden filling out like.
The one thing I agree with you on is in these best of 5s, you can't give games away. You just can't.
No, if you have the lead, you secure it any way possible.
Yeah.
Even if you have to get your starter from tomorrow in to shore up the one win.
I turned it off to turn on the Trump rally, and I was watching the Alabama game, and I saw Wheeler get through 7 and 1-0, and I turned it back on top of the 8th, and it was 2-1 Mets with 2 on and nobody out. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, what did I miss?
Yeah, it was such a boring game to that.
Yeah. All right, my man. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're the man, Mike. Get better, man.
All right, I will.
Keep doing your thing.
You got it. Later. 702-329-0480. Oh, we got a big turnout today. A lot of people watching. Maybe we might switch it to Saturday afternoon.
Hello.
What's up? Welcome to the Mouthpieces, Mike.
How you doing, Mike? Thank you for taking my call. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. What's going on, man?
I'm Big Josh from New York. Been a big fan. Just want to say, since what got me into poker was back in 2005, watching the World Series with me and my buddies. I was about 15, 16 years old, and we were all rooting for you to win the 05 Maine. We caught it back then. We'd look forward to it every week when it aired and catch the new episodes and whatnot.
Nice.
And it was, a great time. And a fun little memory is I still have my I knocked out a pro shirt on Full Tilt.
Nice.
I knocked you out with Jacks versus Tens in some small dinky tournament on Full Tilt. They made you play in back then, probably under your contract.
Yeah, they did. They made me play in them things. I used to fucking play in them. I'm like, how do I lose so I could get in to go play something big? No, I never lost on purpose. I'm just kidding. But I also didn't try my hardest in them things either. But I never.
No, I understand. Well, it's better for us to get the shirts and stuff. You know what I mean? Like the players and things like that. So,
of course. No.
Look, I just wanted to. I had a couple of questions for you. Like I said, big fan for a long time.
Sure.
Actually, a big part of my inspiration that got me into the industry. You and Phil, honestly, my two favorite players, and I have an executive position in poker now. One of the biggest. I don't want to expose who I am, but I have a pretty high position in one of the biggest poker companies out there. So
okay, nice.
It really, I don't want to make sure I pay homage to the people that inspired me to get into my passion and really get into it. So
nice.
Thank you, Mike. So one of my favorite books of all time, man, was Check Raising the Devil. It was really such a good book, and I couldn't help but I always had questions lingering in my head and never really got a chance to talk to you, obviously. So wanted to know if I could run a couple of them by you if that's cool with you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. First one, the amazing story of Scotty's legendary run where you guys got him in the saddle late last minute.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly in the book, there was some rando in the bathroom that threw in the extra money that you guys needed to get him into the main.
Yeah, right? Well, what it was is like I had put him in, put up half for I put up all for 5 straight satellites. And the last one in the evening, I said, dude, I only had like 500 I could put up. So then like this guy Jesse, and I forgot the other guy's name, they each put up 250 each. And that was like literally at the end of the fucking that's exactly what happened. And
did you ever figure out who he was, or?
Oh, I remember, but I just forgot, dude. It's just like it's been 26 years, so I forgot the other guy's name, but I'm sure Scotty would know. I know it was me,
so
this guy Jesse, and I forgot who the other guy was, but I'll have to look it up now that you brought it up.
Yeah. Okay. That's to me that was just such a legendary story. It's just so cool that it happened the way that it did. And I went back and watched the footage, of course, see you jumping around in the background, which I never caught the first time I watched it. So it's so cool to get the inside scoop of the history of the game and being able to see that footage documented, even though it wasn't great footage back then on a potato, so to speak.
Yeah,
But,
it wasn't much. I remember. I don't really have like that much recollection of everything. I just remember I was working for my mom and dad in the furniture store, and I'm like, Scotty's gonna win the main event, and I'm gonna get like 3. My dad thought I was crazy. Yeah, I'm like, no, he's gonna win. Trust me. I had a dream. Trust me, he's gonna win. And so like my dad just couldn't believe it. I'll never forget. But,
well, yeah, I mean, you went from you said you were dusting off at video poker after every shift for a while, right?
Yeah, but in '98 I was playing poker for a living, so I started in 1996. So
yeah, So there was talks about a movie being made, and Nicolas Cage playing you in the movie.
Yeah,
whatever happened.
Well, that was with the Batman guy, which my guy who directed my my documentary, he actually talked to him a couple weeks ago. But what happened there was this was during the 2013 World Series, and we had connected, and we had it greenlit, and then it fell through. So, but my documentary is like over 2 hours long, and it's really good. So, we'll be.
Yeah,
we've got some offers, some really good offers. I could have it on Amazon Prime tomorrow if I wanted to, but we're waiting to see if this other offer comes through. So that's what's going on with that.
Love that. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that, man. That's awesome. I think you're one of the most interesting. They don't make them like you, Mikey. You know what I mean? They're just not. They're not. The kids nowadays.
No.
It's not the same feeling when you watch the game, man, as it used to be.
Well, it's different. You know what I mean? And it's just different. Everything's different. And then people always want to talk about how great the poker economy is. But the poker economy is terrible, right? The only reason why the tournaments are way higher is because everybody's broke, and they're trying to hit a lightning ball. So, but like the cash game economy is not really well unless you're in private games, or you could get into private games. You're not going to make it's very tough to make a really good living, more than $100,000 a year nowadays, because you can't get into the big private games. And so it's that's just kind of where poker's at right now. But I'm just being a realist. You can sit there and lie and say the poker economy's great, when the truth of the matter is the tournament poker economy is great because they have all these re-entries and everybody's chasing. There's a reason why so many of these quote unquote poker superstars they have teaching sites. If they were crushing poker, why would they be teaching everybody how to play? Right?
Right.
Why are they, it's like, if you're like, when I used to make, I always made $1 million a year playing poker. Like, well, the least thing I want to do is teach anybody, but when you get a little bit older, like me, it's something that if you can make $1 million a year teaching, $500,000 a year, whatever the fuck they make, I don't know. Instead of working in poker, it's probably a lot easier. But I don't know. I've never been involved in it, so I just that's the thought process of people learning. Took me years to, I mean, I like helping people, but I don't like giving out, certain things. But a lot of people do. I'm just different. I guess I'm just built with a different cloth, I guess.
I also think there's like intangibles, things that, your skill set. I always viewed you as just a natural talent. Sometimes, there's things that even if you told people, I don't necessarily think they could emulate.
Well, that's what people I talk to say. They're like, man, even if they'll be like, well, even if you taught people, he goes, people are too stupid. They can never learn it or whatever. But I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm watching. Watching you at the table. It's like, to me, you're watching. I think that part of the game has shifted where people are viewing it very much like a science more than they are an art. Where I think it used to have more of an art form to it. And I think the reason that happened is, and this is like my humble opinion, just from observing the game and being around it, since I was a teenager now, and I'm 35 now, by the way, if that makes you feel old. I was watching you when I was a teenager. But my observation is more that there's people that have natural abilities that are very good, that they have that natural skill set, and then they have all this, these studying, courses and these tools and all, all this GTO stuff. And in my opinion, all that does, right, is make the people that don't have that natural talent able to compete with the people who do. So it might not necessarily be that, everyone's getting significantly better because they're more talented. It could just be that the edge has gotten significantly lower while rake and inflation and all these things have gone on.
Yeah.
But these players that would have never stood a chance because they didn't have the ability to study, right? They couldn't even come. It was such a wide gap, and I think that gap kind of got closed now.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It has nothing to do, because you with no studying versus someone who doesn't have the talent but studied all day long, you still have the edge over them. It's just gonna be a much smaller gap than it would have been, say, 20 years ago.
Agree.
Right? Like at the table.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the game's in a weird place. Sorry, go ahead.
It is in a weird place, and it's different, and like No Limit Hold'em it's kind of solved, right? And I was listening to this Bryn Kenny talk about like how Phil doesn't beat the best players here, or he's not in the Poker Go studio, but like who in the Poker Go studio is dominating? Tell me, is Bryn Kenny in there winning year after year? It's like Bonomo one year, Alex Fox in the next, Theodore the next. And what's Theodore doing? He's teaching people poker now. Like, why isn't he winning anymore? Right? It's like, dude, what was a kid from Australia 2 years ago? Nobody wins year after year in the poker dominates. You know, some people win every year, but not like there's nobody dominating in the poker duo studio because they all play the same. You know what I mean? And whoever gets cards wins. So.
And I think that's a good point of that too. I was talking to, I'm not going to drop names. I was talking to a top pro, someone that you would probably know because you played with them a bunch of times. But they said to me recently when we had this conversation, they said all these guys play the same in these high roller tournaments and the higher buy-ins. All these pros, right? They all play the same GTO style. So essentially, like you said, nobody's dominating because there's no edge, and everyone they're basically trading rake at the end of the day.
And they all trade, and they all, but if they sign up on time, you don't have to play rake. But it doesn't matter. Yeah. They're all playing for like 10% or less, 90% of them. You know, they're all.
Imagine back in the day doing that.
I mean, it's just like, and everybody has like the 1% of like 10 different people. It's ridiculous, actually. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the other part of that too is that's why these guys can't dominate large fields against. Because this is what they said to me. The guy I was talking to, he said, "Look, optimal play only works against optimal players, people who are also playing optimally."
Correct.
Right? And that's why.
Dude, you think you're gonna play a fucking WSOP event and play GTO and win? Come on.
Right. Put them in the main, right? Put them in the Colossus.
Yeah. Good luck. Exactly.
That's where I think the natural talent and abilities really shine. That's why a guy like Phil, like Helmuth can run, so deep and win these massive minefield tournaments. And people, he's got a ton of bracelets. And on top of that, how many final tables he's got and all that. How many deep runs
Buddy,
in these massive fields.
I went through 3,600 people in the closer last year, man. And
incredible.
I'm telling you, I finished 10th, but I wasn't playing fucking GTO.
So a calculator's not going to do that. It's not going to get you there.
I just fucking, I picked my spots, and I was pretty good at picking my spots. Well, the Padres 3-0 already? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. I told you the Dodgers fucking pitching sucks. Jesus Christ.
I'm a former professional pitcher myself, so I can tell you they might need to call me in over there from what I've seen with their staff.
Oh fuck, man! Dude, the Dodger pitching is it's not as bad as it was last year against Arizona where they had nobody, but they don't have that money. They're not that
No.
But they needed to win today with Flaherty. If they lost today, they were done. So my hopes weren't too high with the Dodgers because I know that their pitching is really bad. So. All right, my man. Yeah. I appreciate the call.
I got one more question. If I could squeeze in one more quick question for you, it would mean a lot to me. My last question for you would be: look, you talk about a lot of the highs and stuff, as you documented your life, and you went on a crazy, crazy run in life where, and you've gone through ups and downs, left and right, built back up. You always built back. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs in my life too. For context, I shipped $1 million fantasy sports tournament years ago, and then had no idea how to handle that money. Lost it all back in other ways, bad investments, things like that. Then built my way back up again in life, and then up, ups and downs. I guess, what would your advice be to someone, my age who, is just trying to find stability in some kind of way? Like, if you could talk to your younger self, kind of in a similar spot.
My younger self would be like, people used to say, "What do you do with all the money you make playing poker?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What do I do with it? I play higher. What do you think I do?" Right? But but my younger self, if I could talk to my younger self now, I'd be like, "Man, you got $1 million. Put $1 million where you can't touch it. Just invest it somewhere you cannot touch it. Like it doesn't even exist. And then everything, and then just pretend you have nothing. So if you have $1.5 million, you put the $1 million where you couldn't touch it, and just pretend don't tell yourself I have $1.5 million. Tell yourself I got $500K. If I lose this, I'm broke. And I would have invested in I wouldn't have. I made a lot of mistakes, man, but you can't harp on it, and you have to just learn from it, right? Learn from your mistakes and move forward. That's my thought process in life. Learn from your mistakes and move forward. You know?
Yeah, and I think you're definitely a shining light and inspiration to people on that story of, never giving up. You're a fighter, man. And I see it to me.
And I deal with debilitating pain. Like, I went out to a charity poker event last Saturday, and like I couldn't walk by the time I left there. Like, I was like 75% paralyzed. The pain was so bad, and I couldn't walk for like 3 days. I had a sore throat, and I couldn't walk. Like, I couldn't walk till like 2 days ago. Like, it was really bad. That's another reason why I didn't, so, it's I deal with this fucking injury, and it sucks. And you just have to, I don't know, man. I have some really fucking crazy thoughts that go through my head when I deal with the pain. And it's not really good. So, but, we move forward, and we live to see another day. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. Yeah, keep fighting.
That's it.
Mike, I truly want to let you know that this has been something that I've wanted to do for the last 20 years. I'd say, have a conversation with you, and I do truly appreciate your time, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, and giving me the opportunity to talk to you. Man.
Means a lot to
me. I'll keep watching.
You got it. Take care.
Thank you.
702-329-0480. We'll take another call. Got a lot of people today. I guess we might have to switch to Saturday afternoon instead of Fridays, huh? It's good. It's good. So, it's been a rough week for me, man. Like, after I did the charity tournament Saturday, I've been in a lot of pain. Then I didn't have my medication. So, like you said, we fight on. Welcome to Mouthpiece, Mike.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
We're hanging in there.
What's going on?
Oh, I just wanted to pick your brain on some football things. I think we talked a couple weeks ago, actually. It wasn't your last stream, but
right.
Do you think Tua's going to come back this season?
I do.
I remember you said.
I do.
Really?
I think he'll be back in 2 weeks. That's kind of, it's one of the reasons like I lean to the Dolphins a little bit this week. I mean, I think the Patriots are terrible. I think this is a must-win game for Miami. If they win this game, they're 2-3. Even if they lose next week and then Tua comes back and they're 2-4, they could roll off 7-8 in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do think he'll be back. I think he should be back? That's not for me to say, but these people, I mean, like, they've been playing football their whole lives. They're not going to let somebody tell them they can't play. Now, last year, Tua avoided another concussion because he learned to slide, and this year he didn't slide, on that play. And, you watch even the rookies. You watch Daniels, you watch, Shroud, they slide, I mean, you got to slide in the NFL. You're talking about 360-pound defensive linemen coming after you, dude. That'll just knock your shit clean. So, I do think
and he's fragile to begin with. I mean, you see some guys take some hits like Josh Allen. I mean, I know Josh Allen's a big guy, but
he's 6'6", 260. He's like
exactly.
He's like LeBron, 6'6", 260.
Right. Yeah.
When you're 6'6", 260, it's a whole different world. But I agree. Even Josh Allen, like he takes hit. He takes some hits, boy.
Yeah. Do you think the Jags are as bad as everyone says they are?
No, they should be 2-2. They gave away 2 games.
Yeah.
They gave away 2 games. They had Houston beat last week. I think they were my number 2 pick of the week last week. Or no, they were my pick of the week, right? Yeah, they were my pick of the week last week.
Yeah.
And I had them as in my top 4 this week, but the line moved to 3. so I couldn't get to 2.5. And I don't know, like Flacco's much better than Richardson. If Richardson was playing, I would be all in on the Jags this week. But I think the Jags are the right side this week. I haven't played them. I'm not going to play them, but I mean, if you had to put a gun in my head, I wouldn't lay 3. I don't think the Jags are 3 better than anybody, but I would have laid the 2.5.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they just gave Lawrence like a ton of money, like hundreds of millions of dollars. I think the contract was.
They gave him
and now that they
gave him $300 million, and he's lost 9 in a row.
Yeah,
it seems like he's
crazy.
regressing.
Like these teams, they want to lock down quarterbacks who are like halfway decent.
Well, I mean,
and they wind up with these crazy deals.
Look at Lawrence his first year with Peterson, right? When they won the division and won like 7 straight to win the division, like he looked amazing. Then even last year when they were 5-1 or 5-2, he looked amazing until he got injured. And well, what's his excuse this year? I mean, the loss of Ridley is really big for them, but he misses fucking throws by miles. Have you seen some of the throws he misses?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like the same guy.
And you can't say he's 100% healthy, so we can't sit there and blame the shoulder like we did last year. I don't know, man.
I don't know who he's throwing to, though. Who do they even have down there?
I mean, I'm not quite sure, but the loss of Ridley is pretty big, but their receivers are pretty good, but it's not. They're not. Their offense is struggling because ETN can't run the ball, and they can't run the ball because they can't throw the ball. So it's like if you can't open up the run to open up the pass, I mean, their offensive line looks like a disaster. But even when these guys are wide open, I mean, they gave away 2 games, man. They gave away that game to the fucking Texans last week. They gave away, dude. That ETN was walking in to go up 24-7. You know, they gave away that game to Miami. So
that's why they're talking about the coach. They do betting markets and all these things, like on Poly Market. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, of course I am.
They have markets on like who the first coach to be fired will be, and it's like Doug Peterson by a mile.
It's going to be him or Sirianni. If Peterson wins this week and Sirianni loses next week, it's going to be one of those two. But
I don't even know why they kept Sirianni after last year. I mean, the owner of the Eagles is notorious for having a short leash. Yeah, and they look like absolute. They were the worst.
They were the worst team in the NFL. But the thing was, they were 10-1, but they should have been like 6-5. They won 4 games. They were down like 10 double digits. I kept going against them all year, right? Yeah. And then, dude, they lost what 6 of the last 7. Like they were terrible. Their defense was terrible. But
and then they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, crushed. Well, that's why I liked the Eagles in a revenge game last week. But once I knew, remember I said it on the podcast here. I said if Vita Vea plays, I don't like the Eagles, and I overslept because they said that when I went to bed he was questionable and they didn't think he was going to play, and I woke up and he was playing and they crushed the Eagles, man.
Yeah.
So and they didn't run the ball, which why did they ran the ball twice in the first 12 plays? It made no sense. I don't even know what that coach is an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. I agree.
Yeah. But he had one good season when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
they gave away that.
Been a disaster.
Dude, Kansas City's won 2 straight Super Bowls with a nothing team. You know, and now that they've lost their number 1 receiver, they've lost their number 1 wideout. I don't think Kansas. I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints crushed them on Monday. I have them as what?
Really?
I have them as my top 3 pick. I have Jet.
Yeah.
I have
What's
Jets.
the line?
You're getting 5.5. I mean, they shouldn't even have won against a banged up the Charger team last week. I mean, they were
or the Bengals. I mean, remember that game?
They're 4-0. They could easily be 0-4. I mean, they have looked like shit. I mean, truly like shit. So,
yeah.
I mean, the Saints give away that game to Atlanta last week. I mean, Saints have really played one bad game. I mean, that pick six and the fucking fumble at the fucking 2 for a touchdown gave Atlanta 14 points. And then field goal at the end of the game was 17. So 17 of their 30 were just handed to them. But, I mean, Atlanta, they're 3-2. They could be 0-5 easily. Or, they could also be 5-0 easily.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm a Steelers fan. They for sure could have won the first game of the season. I mean, it was like, what was it, like 17-13 or something?
Yeah, 18-10. It was 18-10.
Yeah, it was a super close game.
That was what's his name's first start, and they had a 10-point lead in the Chiefs in the second half. But then again, you look at the Philadelphia game; they were 97% to win that game, right?
Yeah.
And then last week, Tampa Bay was like 97% to beat them. Like all Tampa Bay has to do once they get the turnover is run the ball 3 times, take 3 knees, kick a field goal, and Kirk's not going to fucking dude. He barely got in the field goal range. How the fuck you think he was going to get a touchdown? I mean, the fact that the Tampa Bay run the ball outside where they get a holding penalty. Why would you ever run the ball on the outside? You just run it up the middle. You don't ever get a holding penalty.
Mike, let me ask you something. Maybe this is just me. I feel like the officiating so far this season has been absolutely awful. Like, unbelievably
on the TV
bad.
Games, you see it more. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, they're calling everything. And then also there's these, they're calling little ticky-tack penalties, and then you'll see just like a flagrant hold, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been horrible.
Well, I mean, the pass interference penalties, like the one that they didn't call where Metcalf had a touchdown, that would have that changed the whole game,
Yeah.
And that's why when people want to say, I had Detroit last week, but they're like, oh, Detroit killed them. No, they didn't. They had 38 first downs. They're the first team in NFL history to not punt, have 38 first downs, and lose a game. So I don't want to hear how great they were, Detroit. Their defense was terrible. Yeah. Terrible.
You're so right, man.
I had the right side, but, whatever.
Yeah. Great talking to you, man.
You got it, my man.
Good luck this week with the best.
Yeah, I feel, like I said, originally it was going to be, it was going to be Bills, Jets, and Dallas. But Dallas with all the injuries and the Bills with all the injuries, I decided to go with Kansas City and Cleveland as my second and third and move the Jets up to number 1. I really feel good about the Jets. I know they've looked shitty all year. I know the other teams look great all year, but these are what they call the sandwich games in the NFL, right? You come off the Green Bay division game. Now you got to go to London while you're celebrating your big division win. You got a 2.5 game lead over fucking Green Bay. You got Detroit on deck coming out of the bye for the division lead. And these are the games that these are just the sandwich games. And everybody like, oh, the Jets had lost to fucking Denver. They gave up 10 points and lost. It doesn't happen. So maybe I'm wrong. The Jets could just suck.
You think like the Jets are playoff bound then?
I do. I bet 10,000. Yeah. I bet 10,000 with a very well-known person. I bet them in Washington to make the playoffs. And I'm against Washington this week. I do think Washington's really good. I think the kid's great. and I think the Giants suck, and I think the Eagles suck, and I think Dallas sucks. So I do believe, and by the way, every year in the NFL, in the NFC East, there's been a different winner like 12 straight years. So I don't think the fucking Eagles are winning. I don't think the Giants are winning, and I don't think Dallas is winning. So I think Washington's going to win the division, and I do. Another reason why I think the Jets are going to win the get in the playoffs is Miami. If Tua doesn't come back, you fucking the Patriots in Miami they suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's 4 wins right there, and I mean the Jets are 2-2. They should be 3-1. I had them 3-1 going to week 5, and I had them 4-1 after week 5. So this is an interesting game. This is just the fact the line's 2.5. They're just everything just points to the Jets in this game. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Could be. I've been wrong before. We'll just try and pick 60% in our top 3 every week. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
All right, my man.
Well, good luck, Mike.
You got it. I'm gonna go watch some baseball.
Take care, man.
You got it. All right, guys. I'm gonna go watch some baseball. So our pick of the week, New York Jets plus 2.5. Our second best pick of the week is Cleveland plus 3.5, and our third best pick of the week, all dogs this week, is the New Orleans Saints. If you have to pick a favorite, I like San Francisco -7. Talk to you guys next week on the Mouthpiece.
The Mouthpiece.